have a very exciting video planned about all of the anime that I watched in 2024. So if you watched my previous video, you'll have seen that I ranked all of the anime that I saw in 2024 from least favorite to favorite. So now in this video, I'm going to be doing my own version of anime awards, but for all of the anime that I personally watched in 2024. So this is not at all kind of compared to all the anime that came out in 2024. This is just based on what I watched that year and my own personal answers for all of them. And so again, if my answers don't exactly line up with yours, no hard feelings. I am not going to, come and attack you. Please do not come and attack me. It's just based on my own personal opinion. If you don't like my answer, feel free to put your own answer in the comments. I would love to hear from you. So for all of the anime that I will be talking about, I will put up on the screen in case you don't remember the animes I talked about in the last video, or if you have not seen that video. These are all of the anime that I watched this year, not including the movies, and I'm not going to include the animes that I continued watching, like Demon Slayer, My Hero, and Spy Family, just because I want to give a chance to all of the new anime that I watched in 2024. So I have 22 kind of questions prepared for anime awards. Now, most of these I did take from the official anime awards that happen every year for all the new animes that come out. So if you follow that, or if you have voted in that process before, you will find that a lot of mine are very similar to those, if not the same. I also included a few of my own original ideas, but again, this is all just for fun. Before jumping in, I also wanted to say that I'm not going to be going into much detail for every single one of my answers, because a lot of my explanation for these answers are kind of in that last video that I talked about, where I did rank all of my animes. And so if you want to hear more of an in-depth talk, definitely feel free to check out that video above. All right, so getting into this, the first question is anime of the year. My favorite anime this year that I watched was Black Clover, so that is an easy one to start off with. Black Clover was my anime of the year. Question number 2, the best original anime. This one I have to give to Buddy Daddies, not only because I love this anime, but because literally all the other anime I watched this year is based off of manga, whereas Buddy Daddies was not based off of manga. It was an anime original, which means that the creators of that story just made content in their animation. It was not based off of a book. Question number 3 is best character design. This one was difficult just because I had seen lots of new anime this year, and all of the characters, obviously in so many different animes, have such cool and unique designs. All of my favorite characters are of course contenders for this question, but I ultimately went with William Vengeance from Black Clover. Now, not only is he my favorite character from this anime, I also cosplay him. I just love this character so much. There's so many layers to this. His mask, of course, when he takes the mask off, the layers underneath, even connected to like his personality and his backstory, even his magic ability and his kind of tree magic that he uses. It's all just a beautiful design, and I love the way that everything is connected with Vengeance. And also, since I cosplay him, I actually created that cosplay by hand this year, and so it just meant a lot to me to make one of my favorite characters from the anime that I watched this year, and to have such a really cool kind of like royalish vibe that I had never created before. And so a lot of that kind of bias is also there because I put a lot of time and effort into that outfit. If you want to see more pictures of me as William Vengeance, feel free to check out my Instagram. Question number 4 is best new series. So for this one, I'm going to count all of the animes that came out brand new in 2024, so I'm not necessarily going to count Vinland Saga, for example, because season 1 came out before 2024. So there's a couple on my list that did come out this year, 2024, but ultimately I'm going to give this to Frieren Beyond Journey's End. I absolutely loved what we saw of this story so far, and I'm so excited to see season 2 whenever that comes out, and I do plan on reading the manga soon, so I'm very excited for that as well. Question number 5 is best art direction. This one, if I can't give it to Demon Slayer, which I feel like I always give art to Demon Slayer because absolutely amazing art in Demon Slayer, but if I'm not counting the anime that I continued watching this year, I would like to give this award to the case study of Vanitas. I just remember watching this anime and being completely blown away by the beautiful art, the beautiful colors, and the design of everything. I said it multiple times when watching this anime, and so when I was trying to pick an answer for this, I know note, all of the anime I saw this year had absolutely gorgeous art designs, so different from each other as well, but I wanted to give it to the case study of Vanitas because of how well I remember being in awe of that art. Black Clover is also up there, however, there were some things with the shadowing and things like that that weren't really my favorite, but know that that one is up there as well. Question number 6 is best slice of life anime. I am going to give this to Buddy Daddies. Again, I don't really watch a ton of slice of life anime, but Buddy Daddies I think fits that very well, and I absolutely love Buddy Daddies. Question number 7 is best opening sequence. I never skip an opening. I love watching it over and over again for every episode because I think that there is just so much art and beauty that goes into these opening sequences, whether it's the visuals, whether it's the music, there's foreshadowing thrown in there. It's just really fun to watch it as you go through a season. So with that being said, there are multiple animes that fit best opening sequence for me. Soul Eater with the Resonant song was one of my favorites. You better believe I had that song on repeat in my car for a long time. Same with Black Clover. Black Clover, all of their intros are absolutely amazing. There was a time where just for months I had like every single one lined up. I would just listen to that in the car because absolutely incredible. But the anime that takes it for the win for me is Vinland Saga Season 2, Opening 1, River. I know I've talked about River in past videos because I am obsessed. So coming from an editor standpoint, which obviously I've been editing for a really long time, I'm self-taught, and so I pick up on a lot of things in openings especially. And one of the things I absolutely loved about River was the visuals we got. We got so many foreshadowing sequences. We have just the transitions are beautiful, and then it's also pushing the story forward with what we're seeing of Thorfinn's growth and this kind of rebirth, and it's literally beautiful on top of the song River, which the lyrics are literally perfect for what's going on in the story and how I personally think that a river truly describes Thorfinn's whole character arc and his whole journey, as well as other characters like Canoe, and we have some other ones included in there as well that the whole song can encompass really well. But that opening steals everything away. It was so good. I listened to that song like all the time, every day. I know every word. This is a little bit of a sneak peek for what's to come, but in a few months I will actually be cosplaying Thorfinn, and I'm gonna be making a music video to the song River, which I am so excited for. So be on the lookout for that if you love Vinland Saga. Question number 8 is best ending sequence. So I would like to give this to My Hero Academia Season 7, their first opening, but it's more for their visuals and not so much the song. But since I'm not counting animes that I continued watching this year, I am going to give it to Hunter x Hunter, specifically the ending of what was shown for Greed Island. That song is just so upbeat and just cheerful, and I feel like the overall vibe of Greed Island, this whole like video game aspect, is very much like fun times, if that makes sense. And every time an episode would end for that, it was just this like rush of a start to this ending sequence that I just really enjoyed, and for some reason that just stuck out to me. Ending sequences don't always stand out to me as much as opening sequences, so I held that pretty high for Hunter x Hunter. Question number 9 is best continuing series. So this answer of course is gonna go to one of those 3. So just as a recap, the animes that I continued watching this year were Spy Family, Demon Slayer, and My Hero Academia. And out of those 3, I am going to give it to My Hero Academia Season 7. I explained my reasoning for this in my last video, but it just blew me away compared to the other 2 animes. This next question as well, question number 10, best film. The films that I watched this year were My Hero, You're Next, Princess Mononoke, and Spy Family Code White. I'm also going to give this to My Hero Academia, You're Next, and I did also talk about that in my previous video. If you wanted to check out that is my response for best film. Question number 11 is best main character. So I've been tossing around 2 characters for this, Frieren and Thorfinn from Vinland Saga. Frieren obviously from Frieren. But I am going to give this to Thorfinn. Like I said earlier, I am going to be cosplaying him in 2025. In a couple months, actually, I'm planning on making the whole cosplay, but I really, really love his kind of character arc and the growth that we're seeing, and I know there's so much more to come in season 3 whenever we get that. I've also been reading the manga and have been really, really enjoying it, and so I'm going to give this to Thorfinn because I just see a lot of potential in him. Frieren is definitely a close second. I love just the whole story that she's a part of, and I feel like her character is very unique compared to any other animes that we've seen. I've never seen another story where we have this main character who is literally immortal and has to kind of live with the past and the present and kind of cope with losing people and going through, you know, life with humans that are eventually, of course, going to die. Question number 12 is best supporting character. I also have 2 answers for this question, and I keep going back and forth, but I think I have an ultimate answer. So I have Killua from Hunter x Hunter and Yuno from Black Clover, and ultimately I'm going to give this to Yuno. He is so much more like me as a person, and so I feel like I can relate to him a lot more. And I do visualize Yuno as being more of a main character, but not really as much as Asta, and so I feel like he kind of fits the description of being a supporting character, mainly because he doesn't get enough time like we'd see for Asta, and maybe that'll switch up in the future, which I would love because I want to see more of Yuno. But I'm gonna give it to Yuno, but a quick shout out to Killua because I just absolutely loved his dedication and passion for helping Gon and being on that journey with him throughout all of Hunter x Hunter. And also both characters that I will eventually cosplay in the future, so that's exciting. Question 13, the must protect at all costs character. I have 3 answers for this. First, I have Krona from Soul Eater, then I have Henry from Black Clover, and then Aluka from Hunter x Hunter. These 3 characters, the whole time I was watching their arcs and the part of the story that the characters were in, I was just like, please protect these characters. If they die, I will be very upset because I love each and every one of them so much. Starting with Krona, I love Krona so much. I will probably cosplay them in the future. They're one of my favorite characters from Soul Eater, and their backstory is just so jarring and heartbreaking, everything that they had to endure with Medusa, of course. And so, oh my gosh, when I got to the end of the anime, I was just like rooting for Krona so much, and I'm not gonna spoil anything, but like, must protect character for sure. Then Henry from Black Clover. He's one of my favorite black bulls. I love and adore him so much. I feel like his whole power system of not really being able to move and his whole power dynamic and everything he does for the Black Bull's mansion is just so unique and heartbreaking at the same time because he can't be like the other ones, yet they still include him. And oh my gosh, that whole like big fight that he was in toward the end of what we have in Black Clover, I was just like, please protect this boy. I love him so much. And then of course Aluka from Hunter x Hunter. In the last season of Hunter x Hunter, I was just begging that she would not be captured by Illumi or killed or anything because she's so special. And I for sure cried at the end between the sequence of her and Killua when somebody inside of her was crying and the Aluka that we know wasn't coming back. And it was just like this whole thing, and like I get emotional about this, as you can obviously tell, but these 3 characters are definitely a must protect for me at all costs. Question number 14, best action. I am going to give this to Black Clover. We had so many diverse fight scenes, action scenes, so many different arcs of different kind of battle scenes that were so different. I also want to give this to Black Clover because of the teamwork that we see with the Black Bulls and all of the other groups. I just love a good teamwork system, and especially for the Black Bulls, you get to see how close of like they turn into these kind of nobodies to friends to family, which I just love so much, and I'm so excited to see more, obviously, when Black Clover hopefully returns sometime soon. I want to give a close second to Soul Eater because, of course, we get to see very similar teamwork in that with our weapons and meisters, which again is a very unique element to an anime that I've never seen something like before. So close second is Soul Eater. Question number 15 is best comedy. I am going to give this to Buddy Daddies. I don't really watch a lot of comedy, and I feel like the only two animes that really kind of are comedy are Buddy Daddies and Kaiju number 8, which they both made me laugh, but like Kaiju number 8 kind of irritated me, and Buddy Daddies was more of like a heartfelt laugh, and so I'm going to give it to Buddy Daddies. One scene that stands out to me, I don't remember which episode this was, but it was closer to the end, and obviously spoilers, so skip ahead if you haven't watched this, but Miri is running and Kazuki is like cheering her on, obviously, and Ray has been super quiet the whole time because that's just how Ray is. And all of a sudden he just like sees the light and starts like cheering, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, and it like messes up Miri, and like I think she tripped in that scene, but like it was so funny seeing Ray's character just like full on support Miri and like as like a father to a daughter would, and it was just so sweet mixed with funny and then also sad because he kind of ruined the moment. But like also that scene was also just so funny to me because the voice of Ray is Koki Uchiyama, my favorite Japanese voice actor. So in short, I'm giving this to Buddy Daddies. Next up, question number 16 is best drama. Again, I don't really watch a lot of drama. I'm gonna give this to Your Lie in April because of the kind of like high school romance kind of vibes of going back and forth in the whole kind of drama and romance thing going on there. So Your Lie in April. Next up is anime that made me cry the hardest. I am going to give this to Vinland Saga. I was fine all throughout season 1. I was fine all throughout season 2, and then all of a sudden there's like the 1 or 2 episodes that it's about Arne and her husband, and I lost it. If you know, you know. I was not expecting that, and that's around the time that I kind of fell in love with Vinland Saga and the whole story that it was showing and sharing, and so everything with Arne and her husband, I was done for a while. I cried very hard for that. I want to give a second shout out to Your Lie in April, but it was really only that last episode that had me crying, and of course I didn't have as much buildup as I did for Vinland Saga, and so that's why I'm placing that at number 2. Next up is anime that made me cry the most. So this is very different than hardest. The most is basically a continuous sobbing, not being okay for days. I'm still not okay, honestly. I'm giving this to Hunter x Hunter. Stinkin' Chimera Ant arc, specifically Meruem and Kumogi, not okay. If you know, you know. I can't even talk about it without getting emotional. I've seen the edits online. I'm probably gonna end up making my own edits. I don't want to talk about it. I'm not going there, but if you know, you know. That is what made me cry the most this year. Darn Chimera Ant arc, Hunter x Hunter. Moving on. Second to last, we have anime that surprised me the most. I'm giving this to, of course, Vinland Saga. Like I talked about in my previous video, I was not expecting to like this anime as much as I do, and I, going into it, was very kind of, not like negative, but I was just like, Vikings aren't really my thing. I'm probably not gonna really enjoy this, but then come season 2, I was all over it. So Vinland Saga for that one for sure. Last question, we have hated character to loved character. So this can be said for a lot of characters, but this is basically a character that in the beginning of the anime I didn't really like, and then I grew to really like them. I'm giving this to Yami from Black Clover. I am not really a fan of like the big muscle men, and like literally in the first episode or whenever we see him the first couple of episodes, I remember just being like, ugh, gross. It's one of those types of characters, and I feel bad saying that now, but like they're just not my thing. After seeing the kind of like family that he has created with the Black Bulls and gathering up these people who are kind of nobodies and kind of just gathering up the misfits. I just love that so much. I also think he's just a really funny character. All of his bathroom sequences, his like random smoking, and like, I don't know, his whole attitude and personality are just really funny to me. And so by the end of Black Clover, obviously the sequences that fall into place with him, I was very saddened by, and I really want to continue to see what happens to Yami. But I just really love Yami so much. He's not really like a favorite top tier character of mine, but I really do appreciate him a lot more than I did when I first started Black Clover. That is going to wrap up the anime awards of 2024 for my animes. Personally, I hope you enjoyed. Definitely feel free to use these questions for your own kind of fun. If there's animes that you watched in 2024 that you would love to answer these questions for, also feel free to let me know in the comments what those answers would be, because I am always down to listen to all of your opinions and thoughts about animes that you love and cherish. And so with that, I will see you next time. Bye!